following is an exclusive presentation of Ravens Productions.
Coming up on this week's edition of Ravens Report, the Ravens are the top seed in the AFC. We go all access as the Ravens beat the Browns. Plus, we preview this week's game against the Pittsburgh Steelers with head coach John Harbaugh and fullback Patrick Ricard. All of that and more on this week's Ravens Report.
15-10-5, touchdown Ravens. They are dancing in the aisles. Oh, what a scene we have at M&T. Ravens on 3, 1, 2, 3, Ravens!
Welcome to this week's edition of Ravens Report. From the Under Armour Performance Center, I'm Erin Hawksworth. The Ravens have clinched the AFC's #1 seed. With a franchise record 11 straight wins, the Ravens are the first team in Baltimore pro football history to earn a #1 playoff seed. Before we preview this week's game against the Steelers, let's travel back to Cleveland, where the Ravens started slow but turned it on late in the first half to clinch home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Ravens have not found the on switch yet.
Hey, bring your own energy today, boy. It's on us right now.
Once again, the Ravens are going to ask their defense to see if they can't get the ball back to Lamar Jackson.
Great stop, man. Great stop.
All on the line for the Ravens today. A win secures home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
We got something special going on. Keep it up.
1:50 left in the half, but no timeouts to work with. Jackson out of the shotgun. Wants to throw. Blitz pressure coming. Jackson hit. Lob to the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! Mark Andrews! Ad-lib to perfection.
That's as good as it gets. It doesn't get any better. Ever.
Now the Lamar Jackson impact has been felt around the country. First Energy Stadium along the shoreline of Lake Erie. The Ravens haven't missed a beat since their Week 4 loss to the Browns. Today they look to clean up that blemish on their record by extending their win streak to a record 11 games in a row.
Everybody play for one another. We got something special going on. Keep it up.
Bro, this our destiny. Let's keep building together, bro.
John Harbaugh called the offense the Revolution back in training camp, and the Revolution rolls into Cleveland today.
This is what we want. This is what we need, fam. We're going to get it together. Together on 3. 1, 2, 3.
All on the line for the Ravens today. A win secures home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Give it to Ingram off right tackle. He's got a seam. 20, 25, 30. Outside the numbers, 35. Stiff arms a man and gets all the way to the 40-yard line.
Hey, way to give me the second level. I got to do more on the second, man.
Mayfield to throw. Quick release. Lobbed it down the far sideline. Overthrew his man at the 28-yard line.
Great stop, man. Great stop. Great stop. Great stop, Ward.
The Ravens have not found the on switch yet. They've moved the ball. This seems like one of those games where it's, you use the phrase body blow. It seems like heavyweight boxers just kind of testing each other out here in the first quarter before we see the coordinators start to make their moves. Nick Chubb, the deep back. Baker Mayfield stumbles out of the gate, throws to the back of the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown. Coming down with it is Demetrius Harris. And the Browns score first in Week 16. Now the Ravens offense is going to have to try to pick things up a little bit. Blitz pressure coming. Jackson fires deep down the seam. He's got Andrews at the 10, and he'll run in for the touchdown. Mark Andrews for 6, and the Ravens are on the board. And despite having an inaccurate start to the game, Lamar Jackson threw a perfect ball to Mark Andrews. Pro Bowler to Pro Bowler, and the Ravens are right back in it in Cleveland.
There you go. Willie. Nice job, baby. Nice job, baby.
Amazing protection. 2 plays, amazing.
Great job. Twice they let you go.
So once again, the Ravens are going to ask their defense to see if they can't get the ball back to Lamar Jackson and the offense with good field position. The problem is the Ravens are out of timeouts. They're showing blitz, and here it comes. Baker Mayfield pass deflected at the line of scrimmage and knocked down incomplete. And that has the house booing Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland offense as the punt team comes on. Lamar Jackson throws to Hill out of the backfield. He's got room. Browns 40. And he steps out of bounds at the 37-yard line with 27 seconds left in the half, and the Ravens are in scoring range. Jackson out of the shotgun. Wants to throw. Blitz pressure coming. Jackson hit. Lobs to the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! Mark Andrews! Ad-lib to perfection from Jackson to Andrews. And the Ravens convert in the final minute of the opening half. And a shroud of disbelief now covers this once optimistic crowd in Cleveland.
Yes, sir!
You beat it again. That's awesome, man. Good job. Well done.
That's as good as it gets. It doesn't get any better, ever. Although, just keep it great.
Gotta keep it going.
Data metrics points that the team that scores on their last possession of the first half and first possession of the second half is tough to beat. Well, this is a great way to start the second half as the Ravens are just consuming clock. 8 minutes to play in the third quarter. The Browns have not touched the ball. 13th play of the drive coming up. Ingram sets to the left of Jackson, who wants to throw out of the gun. Jackson steps up, swing pass. Ingram has it at the 5. He can stroll in for the touchdown. Mark Ingram left wide open on the flat, and they are dancing in the end zone in Cleveland.
30 years old. Mama, I love you. Chelsea, I love you. Mila, Mila, Mark and Mela, I love you. Trust.
What started as a bit of a flat afternoon has turned into flat-out dominant. The Ravens lead at the start of the fourth quarter. Jackson on second down. Play action rolls to the right. Pumps, Deeks slides down the 42-yard line after he completely head and shoulder faked Sione Takitaki. Jackson gave him a ball pump fake, a head and shoulder fake, and Takitaki went tumble to the sideline. Well, the Ravens continue their march. Justice Hill in the backfield. Jackson out of the pistol. Gives to Hill. Running to the right. Slips inside the number 10. 5. Hill. Touchdown Ravens! And with 3:39 left in Cleveland, the hay's in the barn. The Ravens are in the playoffs as the top seed for the first time in franchise history. The Ravens beat the Browns 31-15. They run their win streak to 11 in a row. They capture the top seed in the AFC playoffs.
We're just beginning. But just because we're beginning doesn't mean we can't take a second and look back. And what was accomplished was the best regular season in the National Football League this year.
Baltimore is 13-2 for the first time in franchise history, and a win Sunday would secure the best record in franchise history. Still to come on Ravens Report. Last week, Project Pat was selected for his first Pro Bowl. We sit down with Patrick Ricard ahead of this week's game against the Steelers. Welcome back to Ravens Report, presented by MedStar Health. I'm Erin Hawksworth. There aren't many players in the NFL like Patrick Ricard, an undrafted rookie out of Maine in 2017. Patrick has become a key contributor on offense, defense, and special teams. Patrick has helped pave the way for the Ravens offense to set franchise records for both total touchdowns and rushing yards. Last week, he was selected to his first Pro Bowl. Ahead of this week's game against the Steelers, Patrick Ricard sat down with Evan Washburn.
Patrick Ricard, Pro Bowl Patrick Ricard. That has a nice ring to it. Thanks for joining us, man. This is fun to finally catch up with you. I'll start right there. I mean, that honor a few weeks ago and this season you're having has to be what most would describe as a dream come true.
If you look from last year at this point, I was inactive for the last month of the season. And then in the offseason, there was talks of me not even maybe making this team. Coming in, I just had to leave no doubt that I could play in this offense and that I'm valuable and they need to use me. Every week I just go to work. I've been getting great coaching from my coaches. I didn't play offense since high school. It's been a great month and looking forward to the future of this team.
The position switch. Take us to the moment, whether it was which coach came up to you, where you were in the building on the field, where they said, hey, Patrick, we're kind of thinking about adding this to your potential workload.
So I was undrafted out of Maine as a defensive lineman. I got here as OTAs, probably a week goes by. I'm just in the hallways, just going to meetings and stuff, and Greg Roman was the run game coordinator, and he just comes up to me and he's just like, hey, we want to try your rep at fullback. So then practice comes along, I run the play, and then I do a pretty good job. And then I mentioned to Harbaugh that I played fullback in high school. And I think that kind of sparked his interest a little bit more. That's pretty much how it happened. It was just kind of evolved from there, and I still was playing defensive line, and this is year 3 of doing it.
I'm surprised you could take a moment to come talk to us, because I'm guessing you should be in a meeting right now. If you've got special teams, offense, defense, maybe you're making lunch as well. I don't know if they've added that to your plate, no pun intended. But in all seriousness, walk us through your week of prep and how much time you have to spend, because we talked a lot about fullback. You're still a big part of the defense as well.
Start the morning, special teams, I have to go to that because I'm part of most of the units. So I'm in there, and then we break up offense, defense. I start with the offense, get what I need from there. Probably midway through, I go to the defense. And then once that's over, it's usually offensive walkthrough. I have to go to the offensive walkthrough. And then now here we are now for lunchtime, practice. That's when I have to communicate with my coaches because I go back from offense to defense. And then once practice is over, I usually go to the defense. And then if I need anything extra, I'll meet with Andy Bischoff in the mornings or after the whole day's over. And I'm usually one of the last people in the building.
Securing that #1 overall seed in the home field advantage, and I thought your head coach, John Harbaugh, made a great point that everyone says the Super Bowl or road to the Super Bowl runs through Baltimore, but now you guys have to really earn that opportunity to do that. Give us a sense of what that accomplishment was like and the idea that everything, if you do your job, is done on this field.
It's huge. I mean, when you have home field advantage, I mean, that's the biggest thing in the playoffs. I mean, you look at the history of playoffs. Usually, whoever has home field advantage, they're gonna most of the time win those games. And for us to have the opportunity to have that throughout the playoffs, it's huge. I mean, we got to take care of business this Sunday, and then we have to win our first game in order to keep having games in Baltimore. So I mean, everyone's looking forward to it, and it's a big opportunity.
And lastly, with that game Sunday, it'll be unique because your opponent has desperation on their side, and you guys obviously have the long view in mind with some of the decisions that'll be made. But for you, a guy who I'm guessing hasn't lost that, I got to play every snap to provide my worth. This game's just going to be like maybe a playoff game down the road for you.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is another game, and it's even more of another game because it's Pittsburgh, and this rivalry runs deep. It's going to be a very physical game. It's the last game of the year. They need this game to get in the playoffs, and for me, I pride myself whenever I play. I don't care if it's the last play of the game, the first play of the game. I'm just going to give everything I have, and I'm excited to play, and I can't wait.
Well, Patrick, it's been a great story. Still some work to do. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Patrick's attitude, work ethic, and team-first mentality makes him an ideal player for John Harbaugh's Ravens. Coming up next on Ravens Report, when you win 11 straight games, you're allowed to have a little fun. To help get us into the holiday spirit, a few Ravens play What's in the Box Christmas edition next. Welcome back to Ravens Report, presented by MedStar Health. I'm Erin Hawksworth. This Ravens team has been known for two things: winning and having fun. Back in June, a few Ravens players got together to play What's in the Box. Well, during the holidays, it only seemed right to do it again. Watch as your favorite players try to guess what's in the Christmas box.
Hey, just as long as it ain't no snakes, for real.
Hands are sweating. So this whole thing? Yeah, who needs these? What's that? Like some sort of plant. It's a Christmas tree. What is that? What is that? Hey, is that a dog? What? Oh, okay, come on, man. Get in there, B. 3, 2, make your move. Tony Robbins, go. Oh, where is it? Oh, you're playing with me. Oh, about to bang that box. This is a. Oh, is that a cat? Look at the cat. What is that? What is that? Oh, is it a cat? Oh, get in there, B. Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, is that a raccoon? Look at this cat. Oh my gosh, I would not think. All right, hey, look at this guy. Okay, where's Snowflake? You know where Snowflake is? Oh, man, bro. You guys are so rude for this, man. I can't believe I signed up for this, man. I don't know. That was a little bird.
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
It's not right. What the f was that? I felt something furry.
Frosty Snowman.
Say it wasn't alive.
Oh, batteries go here.
Okay, a little penguin. Check out the real thing, man. What y'all slacking, man? Yeah, you guys gonna have to pull this one out, bro. Oh, it's just a toy? Oh, great, man. That's awesome. All right. Sorry, guys. I thought it was a cat.
It's like a little food item. It's a Christmas bark.
Know what type of cake this is. Got gummies in it.
Feels very desserty.
What is that?
Let me see what it tastes like. It's all right. It ain't all that.
Some type of cake, like a Christmas cake.
Fruitcake. I've never had fruitcake.
Ooh, what it is? Ooh, that's cold. Ew.
Ew, what the heck is that? Like an edible arrangements? Oh! Oh, is that? Oh, is that? Oh! It's ham. Is this ham? Oh, gosh.
We got practice in a few minutes. You know what? I ain't really touched that cat.
Happy holidays from all of us here at the Ravens. Coming up next on Ravens Report, the Ravens will rest a few key starters against the Steelers, but John Harbaugh and the Ravens are still focused on winning Sunday's game. We preview this week's rivalry against Pittsburgh next.
They say it means everything to them and nothing to us. Are you kidding me? When we play them, it always means everything. And now it's time to finish strong. We've got each other's backs, and that's all we need. All we've ever needed. We've fought together, grown together, and won 11 straight. And now, we've got one last tune-up for the playoffs against them. We know you'll bring your best. So we'll bring ours. And anyone who thinks we won't can come see us at the bank.
And the party is on in Baltimore.
Welcome back to Ravens Report from the Under Armour Performance Center. I'm Erin Hawksworth. Earlier this week, John Harbaugh said Lamar Jackson, Earl Thomas, Marshall Yanda, Brandon Williams, and Mark Ingram all won't play Sunday when the Ravens host the Steelers. But despite resting a few key players, the Ravens are determined to win Sunday's game and earn a franchise record 14th win. To preview Sunday's game, Garrett Downing sits down with head coach John Harbaugh.
Coach, thanks so much for the time. Merry Christmas to you. I know you got to celebrate a little bit this week, and I also know you had a visitor out here at practice. A World War II veteran, Steve Melnikoff, came out here. He gave a kind of a fiery message to the team this week.
The guys loved him. He was fired up and full of energy and life. Matter of fact, I was standing next to him, and Justin Tucker came over and asked him a question. And he said, tell me what the key is to living to be 100, you know? And he said, I'll tell you what it is. He said, always having a great attitude, a great demeanor, walking around with a smile on my face, and really enjoying people. Man, he said, you do that, you'll make it. So
nice.
There's the tip right there. But he's great, talked about his golf game. Said he always, Steve Bisciotti asked him if he plays 9 or if he plays 18. He said, 18. He goes, I can't break 100 if I only play 9. That wouldn't be right. So he tries to shoot his age every time he goes out.
That's awesome. That's inspiring right there. So on the football field, obviously another game this week. You've clinched the #1 overall seed last week, which is obviously where you want to be. But you set the tone as soon as that game was over, which is even though your playoff position is set, the goal doesn't change. You clearly still want to win this game.
Of course. I mean, we're playing. We're going to put our best foot forward. We're going to play. Our guys are playing. Our team is playing. Our guys are playing. We expect the next guy in to play just as well. We're looking forward to it. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have a ton to play for, and we believe we have a ton to play for too. We always do, and we just can't wait to get out there. It's a home game. We want our fans to be excited, and we want to play our best football game.
Quarterback Robert Griffin III has said all week, the game's not about him, but obviously, knowing his story, and he's a quarterback, and so a lot of discussion around him. Do you get the sense that he's really fired up to go out there and start his first game in a few years?
Well, I do, but I kind of reiterate what Rob says. That's not what we're thinking about. We're thinking about he's kind of telling you how we think as a team, and I think he's exactly right. We're thinking about playing winning football. He's thinking about playing winning football, the defense. I just feel like this is a big game for us. This is a game that we have to continue to improve. We've got to keep getting better. And to win the football game, we're really going to have to play our best football.
And lastly, Coach, you got this game, and then also, obviously playoffs are right around the corner. From a preparation standpoint, do you have to split time to start preparing for the playoffs and what game plans could look like there? Or is it only this week and then you'll cross that bridge when you get there?
It's only this week.
Okay.
Yeah, our focus has been 100% on the Steelers. It's this week and this week only, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Awesome, Coach. Good luck
Great.
on Sunday.
Thanks, Garrett.
Thank you.
The Ravens' current franchise record 11-game winning streak, it started back in October against the Steelers, and a lot has changed since that matchup. But the rivalry remains one of the best in the NFL. The Steelers' playoff hopes rest on the shoulders of Devlin Hodges, but the Steelers' defense has been the biggest reason for Pittsburgh's success this season. They rank 4th in the NFL and are led by Defensive Player of the Year candidate TJ Watt. That's it for this week's show. Thank you so much for watching, and as we head to the playoffs, be sure to download the Ravens Connected TV app on Roku and Apple TV to stay on top of all things Ravens. We'll see you next week on Ravens Report.